Okay, hello everyone. Here we are on a Monday night. I did go out today, but just for a little bit. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley, physical therapist and health coach, and I want to help you tonight. There's someone out there that is really struggling with their health. And, you know, with our recent crisis, hey Dolores, it's all the more important for us to be healthy. And so I'm trying to help 1,000 people get healthy, and I love this journey. I love seeing people catch it. Okay, I want to start off by saying this what I'm going to teach you tonight is gonna really help you to understand why you got fat, if you did, or why you gained that weight. And because if you were like me, I was always thin. I never struggled with my weight. I mean, I'd gain a few pounds and then I'd lose a few pounds, but now I know. And so I want to help other people because it's so, hey Winnell, hey Hope, hey Ann. Okay, I hope y'all will share this video because this is one of those, it's got some juicy nuggets in it that you're gonna want to share. Okay, I'm going to be talking about LDL. I'm going to be talking about liver fat. I'm going to be talking about glucose and fructose. So if you've got some friends, jump over on your text and say, watch Nancy, or you can send it to them later. Okay, so here's some interesting facts that when I've been watching these two doctors discussing this over the last few days, and yeah, and so these are a couple of doctors that I follow that have been, you know, pioneers in this whole curing diabetes thing, okay, and helping children with adolescent diabetes, okay. So here we go. All right. Hey, Bonnie. Let's see who else on here. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Zelda. Hey, Haley. All right, so here we go. What we're going to talk about is how sugar is hacking the brain, and we should all be interested in that because apart from, you know, a stroke or a heart attack or, yeah, those things, which are heart attack, number one killer, and cancer is Alzheimer's and loss of brain function. I don't know about you, but, you know, I mean, I want to function, but I want to know that I'm functioning. I don't want somebody else to be taking care of me, okay? All right, so hey Donna. All right, so thanks for joining me, y'all. So this is probably one of the most exciting yet sad things that I've done, presentations. All right, so and especially children. I'm going to talk about children. I don't usually talk about children, but you know, I see it so much in children and what's going on, the obesity in children, the weight gain in children and young children, and just the diets that children are consuming. And so, hey Don, yeah, hey Michael. All right, so here we go. So what we are noticing over the last 20 years is there's been a 2 to 4 times increase, higher levels of insulin in Americans, okay? Now, I didn't say glucose. Glucose is the same. When you check your finger, it's 80 to 90 on people, unless they're diabetic, of course. But earlier on, you know, before you actually get that insulin resistance and it starts really affecting your pancreas more, or your liver actually, that's what we're going to learn tonight, then the insulin levels are there, but the glucose is the same. And that's because your pancreas is doing what it was created to do, which is bring the sugar levels down. Because now what we know what sugar does to the body, and so the pancreas is working really hard, and it's not a very big organ, okay? And so is the liver. The liver's working really hard, okay? So sugar is comprised of, now when I say sugar, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about that white stuff, the crystalline. Yes, I am. I'm talking about high fructose corn syrup. I'm talking about crackers. I'm talking about Danish pastries, I'm talking about granola bars, I'm talking about all the things that have sugar in it, which is almost everything, okay? If you read packages, I picked up something the other day, and the first ingredient was sugar. And I'm just like, this isn't even really that sweet, but there it was, first ingredient, because, you know, there's so many ingredients, and maybe I need to post that are sugars, okay? Types of sugars: maltodextrin, dextrose, sucralose, fructose, which is what's in fruit, but it's also what's in high fructose corn syrup. And so there are two things in sugar. All right, there's glucose, which is the starch, which, you know, our pancreas handles that pretty good. But it's the fructose is the culprit here, okay? All right, and I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. But when you sit down to drink that 20-ounce Coke or those 6 Oreos or 8 Oreos or whatever it is, that sugar burst, okay? So that fructose, okay, it ends up in your liver, okay, because your pancreas can't quite handle all that. And so, but your liver has no choice but to take it and turn it into liver fat. And that's what fatty liver is, okay? It's fat around the liver, and it musks up the system, all right? That's what, it mucks it up. It mucks it up. And so it's taxing the pancreas, and that's what drives the weight gain, because it can't handle it, all that extra sugar, and so it's stored in fat around the middle. You remember the demo I gave? I got it sitting over here, my jars of red water that's actually the blood that's in your body, and that over more than 1 teaspoon of sugar in that is actually stored. So that's what that weight is around the middle. Hey, Kate. Hey, Tina and Joel and Johnny. All right, so go back and watch this from the beginning. So what I said so far is it's the fructose that ends up taxing the liver and causing liver fat. All right, so I'm going to give you a little history lesson here that I think you need to know, because this is why when I say it's not your fault, hey, Catherine, it's not your fault. So in 1955, President Eisenhower had a heart attack. And everybody, the whole medical field was all up in air. I mean, people had heart attacks before, but they just began to really focus on, or actually let it be known through the news media, okay, that they're working on this, okay. And so there were two. Okay, if you split it off, there were two streams, all right? There was this one doctor, research doctor, that was researching sugar, and I'm not going to mention his name because nobody knows it, but what he found was that sugar causes, there's an increase of arthritis, there's an increase of course, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. All of these things were related to sugar in the diet. Okay, people that ate a lot of sugar, and it was proven, but he didn't get any notoriety. Okay, all right. The other researcher was Ansel Keys. All right, and he was voted the scientist of the year in 1980, and he published a research project called, it was either the 7 or 8 countries study, and he did this study, and it showed that fat caused an increase. Well, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that we got from that study. But what we didn't know that we know now is there were 22 countries, but he didn't report it all. And so it was not a viable representation of the research that he did. But let me tell you what happened. Because of that research, fat causes LDL to go up and is a driver of cardiovascular disease. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. People started vandalizing and making fat the culprit. It became the scapegoat. And that's when all the low fat, get fat out of your diet, all of that started being promoted by the Heart Association, by the Cardiovascular association by everyone, okay? And so that's why I say it's not your fault, because they started telling you that fat is bad. So guess what one of the products was that came out in that time? SnackWells. We all ate them. We thought, oh, this is wonderful. We can enjoy these, and they're good for us. SnackWells. Think about it. And they're probably still around today. Do you know how many grams of sugar are in a SnackWell? 14. 2 grams of fat, so they took out the fat and they put in the sugar. And so many other things that are, today we know as not healthy. But here's the 3 things. You might want to write these down. One, we learned that fat and sugar, by the way, was a driver of cardiovascular disease. And we know that now. And we know that dietary fat does cause an increase in LDL, which is the low density lipoproteins, okay? And those are the things that cause problems in your arteries. But it's not the ones that increased with the fat, it's the other one. So there are 2 types of LDL. There's the big fluffy particles and the small little particles that are like shards of glass, okay? And those shards of glass are what stick in the walls of your arteries and cause all the problems. They cause inflammation, they cause atherosclerosis, stroke, cardiovascular disease, which includes strokes, heart attacks, all those things, okay? So, LDL is probably not a bad thing. In fact, it's not bad at all, but it's probably neutral. But if you go to the doctor and your LDL is a certain place, they're going to give you statins. And now we know that statin drugs, listen to me now, and I'm going to do more on this later, actually affect your insulin receptors. And so we don't want to go on those, do we? But we feel like that's our only choice, okay? All right, so here's what happens. All right, so LDL, the low density lipoprotein, we learned it was a driver of cardiovascular disease. We also learned that dietary fat raises your serum LDL, which is the cholesterol in your blood, but that there are 2 LDLs. There's the big fluffy and the small shard-like things. Well, the one that got raised was not the one that caused heart disease, okay? All right, so I want to go back over here. All right, so I want to just say this. I've got some little notes written up here. So your breakfast cereals are 46% sugar, and sugar smacks are 56% sugar. So Cheerios and all those things that we were told were healthy, you want to take another stab at that? Give me some loves or likes if you now know those aren't healthy, but you thought they were healthy. Those oatmeal packs, all those things, you thought they were healthy. Hey, Becky. Hey, Chantel. Hey, Julie. Yeah, Betsy. All right, so here we go. So what actually happens is, so imagine this, that if we could get the fructose out of our blood, which is, it comes from what we eat. It doesn't just show up in the blood. It comes from what we eat, what we ingest. If we could get the fructose out, then the liver fat would go away, and it's amazing how quickly it responds. I mean, I've got people that within just a month, 2 weeks, are already responding, their blood sugar's normal, okay? I've got a guy that just in a week was bringing his blood sugar down. He drank a milkshake yesterday and it was back up to 240. But we had a conversation. Yep. All right. So the third thing is the pancreas would slow down. We're taxing our pancreas with all the sugar. The average American eats about 35 grams of sugar a day. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you you can't have anything sweet. You just can't have all that sweet. All right. And then the fourth thing is people start getting well. Imagine that. So here's the sequence we can go through naturally. There's no medication needed. All right? And that's what people in my program are doing. All right, so I want to jump back to, I'm going to flip the page here, and we're going to talk about two phenomenon. I know I'm kind of going on long here, but, you know, it's okay. All right? Or you can leave and watch it later or whatever. I probably should have done this in two, but here we go. So there's the indirect phenomenon here, which is where you eat sugar, your insulin goes up, everybody knows this, and your sugar goes down. It's how it's supposed to happen. It's what happens in children. And guess what? In 30 minutes or an hour, usually about an hour, hour and a half, you notice they're hungry again, they're emotional, they have brain fog, they have cognitive decline, they're grumpy, they're irritable. My granddaughter even said to me, Grancy, I need some sugar. She felt it. You feel it, okay? All right, so that's how our system works, okay? Here is an indirect phenomenon that's about to blow you away because it affects the brain, and I want you to hear this now. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Hope. Hey, Mary. Hey, Jan. Okay, so here we go. You eat sugar. All right, so we're going to say fructose, glucose and fructose, which is in sugar. All right, so your liver has an overload because your liver is not designed to metabolize the fructose. All right, so that's why you get the fat around the fat storage. All right, so you end up with serum levels of fructose, which is fructose in your blood. All right, and the brain is also not designed to metabolize fructose. It's wanting the glucose. All right, and so what happens is the astrocytes, which are not the neurons, but they help to metabolize the fructose, okay? So your brain can function. But here's what happens. In that process, it depletes their ATP. And that's what neuroscientists are learning now, physiologists, all this, researchers are learning now what is causing Alzheimer's. So we went from diabetes to Alzheimer's, but at the beginning, remember I told you this is going to shock you because of course we want to prevent heart disease and stroke and all that, but we also want to prevent Alzheimer's. So the bolus of this fructose to your brain has a direct effect and causes brain overload and shrinkage, all right? This is something you really, really, really need to consider. So if you can look at that fructose as something that's causative for brain decline, brain shrinkage, maybe it would help you to cut back on it, okay? So to summarize, you know, it's not your fault that you gained all that weight. And because you thought the low-fat diet, cutting back on fat was going to help you. And it didn't because we added sugar. They added sugar to our food. Look at saltines. Saltines, I picked up a pack the other day, and the second ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. There was flour, which has some of the same effects, high fructose corn syrup, and then all these other things. On that little package, it had so many things I couldn't even read it. It was so small and so many things, okay? So probably other forms of sugar, all right? Because they want you to eat it. If it's not good, you're not going to eat it. But I'm just going to tell you, I eat some good stuff. I had some delicious food today. I went to this new meat market that has grass-fed and grass-finished beef, and I loved the fact that we have that available here in our town. I'm not going to say our little town. Okay, so if you want more information, I would love to meet with you and talk to you about my program. You can go to YouTube, Dr. Nancy Stanley, and I've got lots of videos there about how to come off your insulin, how to lower your blood sugar. I've got a lot of cooking recipes of optimal foods. I don't cook any foods that aren't optimal, and to show you how. In most of my meals, I cook in less than 10 minutes because it's meat and vegetables. Okay, I do a lot of food prep, so I have healthy food available. But I'm just going to tell you the best way you can fight coronavirus and any other virus that's going to be coming along is to be healthy, all right? And here's the main hacks. I'm going to summarize with this because of where we are. Sleep is the most important thing. Every health professional that I watch, every health coach is going to tell you sleep, because that's when our body heals. That's the way God made it, okay? So get sleep, all right? The second thing is going to be nutrition, optimal nutrition. Don't put any poison in your body during this time. You want it to perform. You wouldn't put dollar gas in your car, so don't put that in your body. I love the likes I'm getting. This is so true. The third thing is get your vitamin D. Get out and get in the sun 15 minutes. Your body the sun actually uses cholesterol to make that vitamin D, so you got to have your skin exposed. Don't bathe for about 6 hours, because you're going to wash it off if you do, because it's in the oil in your skin. All right, so vitamin D. Exercise. You want to be moving, you want to be breathing, you want to be exercising your lungs. If you're sitting all day, you're cramping your lungs. You want to get oxygenation, okay? And I'm going to be talking about this week is stress. You need to learn how to manage your stress. Stress causes your cortisol levels to go up, which causes interference with your human growth hormone and all the things that help your body to heal. So help yourself by learning how to meditate, learning how to be mindful, and stay in the present. Going into the future is what causes anxiety. You don't have any control of it. I don't even have control over the next 10 minutes. I only have control over this moment. I'd love to help you. Message me. Let's get together and talk. I could bump you right into my program right now, and in 30 days you could have your insulin levels good. You could have some of that fat coming from around your liver. It leaves from around your organs first, okay? So I want you to know that. But I love helping you. I want to help you. I want you to be a healthy person. You know, I'm not a smoker, so I don't smoke. I'm a healthy person, so I choose healthy things. And when you begin to put your mindset and say, I want to be a healthy person, not I want to have health. Everybody wants to have health, but you want to be that person, and that's what's going to get you what you want. If I just say, okay, I'm not going to be a gossiper, that's what I don't want to be that, then if I work at not being that, then I don't have gossip in my life, okay? So I just want to encourage you. I love y'all. Thanks for joining me. Please share this video with somebody. There's someone out there that's literally dying to hear it. They've tried every diet, but what's different about mine is I'm coaching you every day. You get support every day to know what to do. There's no doubt about what you need to do. There's lots of guides, lots of shopping guides, all the things that you need to be successful. So let me hear from you. Have a great night.